Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me is Garrett Punchy Dill and Coach Keita Robinson. First of all, good evening. We've had an exciting day of football today, interesting football all weekend. What can I say? Let me just run down the scores because some of these are going to be unbelievable when you hear them. Yesterday at Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts 2, Dandytown Hornets 1. Today at the Southampton Oval, it was Paget Lions 1, Somerset Trojans 2. At Wellington Oval, it was Hamilton Parish 7, Crossroads 0. And at the Police Field, it was Young Man Social Club 5, Devonshire Cougars 3. In First Division play last night at the BAA Field, it was Boulevard Blazers 1, St. David's 2. Today at the Bernard Park, it was Wolves 7, Somerset Eagles 0. And at Southampton Oval, Island Rangers failed to have a team forfeiting the match, earning the Southampton Rangers a 3-0 victory. Let's start off with the match from yesterday at Wellington Oval, where St. George's edged the Dandytown Hornets. Again, we talk about a team like St. George's. They have a lot to play as high as they possibly can. Coach, looking at a team like St. George's and being able to pull off a victory at home against Dandytown, although Dandytown has resurged under Scott Morton the last few weeks, but they knew this one wasn't going to be easy.
Yeah, and St. George's only had 11 players, no subs. Teams going out of Island. FC Bascom have quite a few of St. George's players that coach there, starters. And, it was a game that St. George's knew with a team like Dandytown coming to play and their resurgence, that they would have to get it right with 11 players. And to win it, they were up 2-0. But of course, that's normal, right? You're up 2-0. You have no subs, or if they had one, and then now you're tired, legs are tired, brain is tired, but they held on for the victory. So, there's a good victories to get. St. George's, again, is just, I watched them play against Hamilton Parish, and there's some quality in that team. There's some soldiers in that team, some diehard St. George's players that, they go hard for St. George's. And I'm looking forward to the FA Cup final. Obviously, I can't lose that game. So I'm going to be relaxed in the stands. Maybe we can do a pregame. But, yeah,
we will.
St. George's, that takes a lot of grinding and heart to battle against a team that's on the rise, regardless of what they've been through. A team that has quality in it, as Dandytown has the quality there, and now a quality coach, and Scott Morton, who would get it right. But, they may be in Dandytown, maybe just in that rebuilding phase, and I don't want to take away from what Punchy has to say for Dandytown, but they may have looked at that as a game we could take some notes from to improve.
Sure. Punchy, we talked about the resurgence of Dandytown under Scott. They go to St. George's and go down 2-1, but obviously Scott would have, just came out on the wrong end on their day.
I don't know. I can't understand what's going on there. I think we're seeing what Dandytown's been about this year, even with Scott in charge now. When I saw him play against North Village 2 Sundays ago, or Sunday before last, I was like, whoa, this looks a lot better. And then the following week, what is 4-4 with Crossroads? And then look what happened on Saturday. He must, again, adding to what Keita said, they're rebuilding. The one that the nothing, they don't really, all they're doing is playing for pride right now. And they're probably just looking at a rebuilding stage right now. It's 2 games left. So I'm sure they showed up with enough players. But I think that's just disheartening. I Morty must know that the mentality there now. What will be better? He's looking. I know he's looking ahead of next year if he's going to be there, because I thought this was temporary. So that's also up in the air. I've heard. So it's sad too. Like Peter was saying about the quality that they have at their disposal, and definitely showed up against North Village. You saw what the Cape were doing. So again, you're going to say, okay, the season's winding down. Let's just give it a good account of ourselves. And I thought they would have been better the last 2 weeks.
Well, let's turn our attention to today, because we had everybody. We know North Village and PHE top of the table clash was called off because of the fact that North Village have so many players in the national team that has gone over to play in the FIFA series. So the top was, the top of the table clash. Two very interesting games on tap. The first one was at Southampton, where Somerset Trojans taking on Devonshire Cougars. Let's first talk about the Paget Somerset game. I was there for the first half. Both teams kind of struggled to control the game. Very few chances were created in the first half. I think Somerset had the better of the play, but just never really tested the goalkeeper in the first half. Never really got a shot off on. They got around the defense, but never really put anything on target. The second half started, and Somerset took the lead. Paget equalized right behind that, and then Somerset got a late winner. And I'm pretty sure they would have all been excited because they would have been thinking, like everyone else was thinking, that Cougars was going to beat Social Club. But unfortunately,
right,
Social Club had another thing to say about it, because they actually beat Cougars 5-3. But let's get back to this Paget Somerset game. Somerset go into the game, Punchy, knowing that they need 6 points from the last two games today and their final game in order to have a chance of staying up. Looking at it, the young team, they looked early, they looked nervous. They were playing positive, but it just looked nervous. It looked like because they lacked experience, and this will take its toll on them. I think the most senior player, Jazz Rattery Smith, was on the bench.
Right.
And left it up to the youngsters to go out there and do the job. But they have that you're staring relegation in the, and you travel away from home your last games at the time.
Well, yeah, that's a hard. I think that it just we talked about this Somerset all through the year about their having seniority in the team, having so many young players there, and they've struggled. They've struggled. I've seen some games where they look exceptionally good for a little while, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the weaknesses. But what's going to happen to them? The coach must say, listen, we need this many points. I think we can achieve this, right? That's what I think he must be telling the players all through the week. Look, we got to do this, with the celebration they had on the weekend, I believe. So the talk must have been about the Silver City tradition. I can imagine that type of talk what that coach said. So that probably spurred them on also. But looking back onto the season, what they're about, very inexperienced. And again, they're going to take some time to, if they do manage to stay up, will they get better players? But this is a learning curve for them, isn't it? It's a learning experience for them. And if they do go down, we know they'll be coming straight back up for sure. But with Somerset again, can you think that at one time what they were about. And I've spoken to a lot of people that support Somerset still, even if they're not to the games, and the players, and they talk about the demise of what's happening at the There's so many things that they say are going wrong up there. But again, the junior program still is intact. So I think they're good. They're going to be good. And I do believe they're going to stay up.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Well, when we get to the picks, I think you'll change your mind.
I actually hope that I hope they stay
look
up.
at a team like Paget. Well, again, when we get to the picks, you'll see that we'll get to that. Coach, when we look at a team like Paget, who obviously their first ambition for the season was to stay up. Mission accomplished for them. I think the second one was to try and finish as high as they could possibly finish. This result here pushes them down the table because both St. George's and Hamilton Parish overtake them. And I don't think, that's what they really wanted. I think they really wanted to finish in that fourth spot. So how does Antoine get this team up for their final game, having pulled PHC from the top of the table 1 week, and then you lose to the Somerset Trojans, who are at the bottom of the table, the next week? How do you get these guys up for the final game?
Again, everything's mindset, right? We talk about this every season on the show. It's a mindset. Can he get them up for that? They're safe. Have they just conceded to the position that they're in? Have they accepted the expectation that St. George's is better than them? You said Social Club's going above them as well?
No, Hamilton Parish.
Hamilton Parish, yeah, Hamilton Parish. They probably would consider that being a team that should be above them as well. Is their final game of the season? Is Bermuda football? Are they even still training like they were training? Do they even care about this final game of the season? So that's where the coach would have to start. What is you guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? What do you guys? Do you want to finish strong, or are we okay that this is where we are? We survived. We're good with that. And we go again next year. So that would be the question the coach would have to ask. Guys, what do they want? It can't be what Antoine wants at this moment. It has to be what the players want. What do they want for themselves? Because that's what's gonna get them in this last. And who's their last game against?
St. George's Colts.
Oh, wow. About that. In St. George's or in Rangers? That's the difference there too. But no, yeah, he definitely would have to have the conversation as to what it is that they want. What do they want this last game to look like? But yeah, that'd be it for me with Paget. I feel like they're just riding it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, Keita, about them, because they're very interesting study.
When we come back,
yeah,
we'll talk about Young Man Social Club, Devonshire Cougars match. That's a 5-3 victory. We'll be right back.
Better Than Bouillon is an oft-featured organic food producer who believe that great recipes begin with great ingredients. This judiciously named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen, replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and a more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases, made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. You know, those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep, you start, you know, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you know, you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it, excited to promote because I believe it, because I know when I was playing outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the factory. Very, very professional company, done on so much work, yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product, yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
Bring Bugsy back in. Well, at Police Field, Young Man Social Club would have known they needed to get something out of the match in order to, you know, stay safe for another week, heading into the final week of the season, which is in 2 weeks' time. And they got the reward. They ended up defeating Devonshire Cougars 5-3. A result that would have shocked many across the island, Punchy. Social Club, Police Field.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, last week, that's one thing I could say about them.
They beat PHC.
Yeah. Can you hear me? You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. Social Club,
Yes.
even last week, they never gave up. There was never say a die attitude, like just, you know, they worked hard, even though they were beaten convincingly by North Village. But what I liked was the attitude. And when the goalkeeper got sent up, nobody was carrying on, and they just played. And they have a lot. They're playing with a lot of heart. The coaches has instilled a lot of heart into them, and they are determined to stay up. So maybe I do have to change my mind about who's going to be down. But I think you know, even when they play at Police Field, it's that's not an easy field to play on. Trust me, it's a tricky little field to play on. So my thing will be, I'm glad for Social Club. They will, if they do remain up, they do stay up, which I think they will. They are going to need recruits. Definitely, they're going to need some good players, not just players coming over to play, but quality. You know, you heard the stories about what they're planning to do at the club, and you know, the whole rebuilding process. I wish them. I think if they do stay up, I do wish them the best. I think the coach, I got to applaud him. He's instilled a really fighting ethic in that team. Even though I've heard stories about the internal fightings and whatever that may be, but what I witnessed last week was never die attitude, and I do really like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Coach, when we look at when we look at Devonshire Cougars, Coach, since that defeat in the semifinals of the FA, they turned around and beat St. George's last week in that night game. But then they turn around and lose 5-3 to Social Club. What do you think is going on at the Den?
Let me tell you what I do know. I do know that the coach lost a league match, and what was the statement? Can you hear me? You guys
I can hear you, Peter. I hear you.
Punchy, what do you think is going on at the Den?
No, I'm gonna let Peter finish. Go ahead.
So
Okay.
You go in the paper and you say we're focusing on the FA Cup. When it was enough league games left to still focus on the league, correct? But you said I'm going to focus on the FA Cup. Then you get knocked out of the FA Cup. What message are you sending your players? And then the coach isn't even on the island. So you have interim coaches now getting you across the line for everything. So the leader of the pack isn't there. And it's almost like, I wouldn't say he doesn't care, but it's almost like, I don't care about you guys now. Like, we can't be the leader. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I'm not saying that life doesn't life. But Cougars the players themselves do not have anything in them to fight for. And it stems from little comments that are made. So if that's the coach, I'm saying, we can't really, since he made that statement about the league, PAC slipped up, Village drew with Dandy Tom, they were still in a fighting chance of winning the league or putting the pressure on the players. But if you conceded that early, what else? What are Cougars playing for? They're just playing to finish out the season now. Nothing else.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
I think
all the doing is showing up to play and just finish the season.
Earl, I'm going to add to that. You asked me, Coach Keita also. I go back to times when we were almost, Northridge were at that the bad time in our history where we were almost lost that. If we would have lost the Cougars that day, that Sunday afternoon. But I'm just talking about the attitude. It was we never were like, I don't care, man, we're going down. We were always fighting, and it's what added to what Coach Keita is saying is, well, what's the mentality there now? If the coach is telling you, well, the FA Cup, and he's not around, and I've heard there is some internal problems going on, but with such that they have with the players that they have, even if you haven't achieved what you have, you got knocked out of the FA Cup, you got to be thinking, well, about the Cougars, the institution. I keep saying about building a mentality for the institution that you represent, and I don't think if it's not coming from the coach, well, if you can't, you're not gonna have it from the players. And I'm saying and I'm not saying that is the situation there, but they got 2 games back. They got to have some respect for the game and where you stand as a club. And the people that still come out to watch you. I spoke with Maynard, who used to play Maynard. We spoke in depth when we went to the FA game with St. George's and Parish, and he was speaking about things that he'd known about the Cougars situation. And it wasn't, it's just, it seemed like they got a lot of problems out there. So again, I see that a lot in some of these, like you see it in a team like Cougars, and I'm very disheartened about it because, again, I would repeat myself about the institution of football, what you represent, which is most important with the players that are there.
Yeah. Well, in the final Premier Division game, so Hamilton Parish, another team, Punchy, looks like and I'm talking about Crossroads, just getting across the line. Let's finish this season out. Let's figure out what we're going to do next season and go from there. It's a bit, I mean, they've been able over the past few years to pull themselves out of the hole, but still they dug way too deep this time around.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, it's rebuilding for them. What they're gonna do, the junior, I heard they have a nice junior program, but they're not a junior program. They have a program a footballing program on there, but it still comes, they still come to the fact that what they're gonna do next year. The question is, what is Gumbo gonna do? I've heard, what is he gonna do? Will he stay with the team, or will he go on? Because what is it gonna do? We know that even if Gumbo is not there, they will win that division. They'll come back up, and they, start again year after next. But it's about rebuilding. And they are still, I keep talking about the times when they were doing so well, but you got to look at the players that they had too, on the Moroccan coach. And there's another club that's building. There's another club that's building, trying to build an institution, because they're also a cricket club, but they say they're not associated with the cricketers. But I don't believe that. What I'm saying to you is that they would have to think about getting recruitments and about what Gumbo is going to do. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what Gumbo is going to do. And Mr. Thompson. I know a lot of people have been trying to pry him away. I don't know what the connection is there, but he's getting old, He's getting old. I don't know what his desires are. I would have thought he would have really wanted to be in the national program. You got to think about that. If you're gonna, you cannot. No, but you're not gonna pick for the national team if you're gonna play for Crossroads. It just ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. Is he good enough? I think so to get a shot in. Yeah, but again, be interested to have a conversation with Gumbo. Really.
Right. Yeah, and I'll throw that to Coach Keita. What does now? Here's a guy like Gumbo who has an opportunity to build an institution in the first division, to give it some base, and then come back. Even if they don't come back the first season, he's still, you know what I mean? He's putting his hands on what they could possibly do, regrouping themselves in the first division. Is that a challenge you think that Gumbo will be up for? You got on mute. You're muted. Coach.
Sorry. I was muted. I'm so sorry. Is that something? That's a lot of work. No, is he, he's married, he has a child. Is the family gonna, the family dynamic gonna allow that? Do they have a strategic plan in place at Crossroads for that? What support will he be getting for that? So there's a lot of little pieces. It's not a matter of is he just up for it. Like, he doesn't want to keep flogging a dead horse. That made no sense. So there has to be a plan in place. If there's no plan in place, no, he's not going to, because he's going to be wasting his time. So what do they have in place? And they do have a good little youth program. I watched a few of their young players play the other night, and it looks good. It looks like they're working on the development of the players down there. So for me, it's what does Crossroads have in place for Gumbo to build on? You're muted, Earl.
He's muted, yeah.
Muted, there you go.
What's your thoughts, Punch?
My thought is again, I'm adding to what Keita said, Coach. My thought is that Gumbo's okay if he doesn't stay, again, family, and look, Gumbo comes from an orphanage. I'm not, let's be honest here. He comes from you've been around a institution that it's driven by success with North Village, and then you go to somewhere else and the mentality is not the same. It kind of is disheartening. It's disheartening, and I know that's what Gumbo must be challenged with. He screwed up all our lives with us, and so it must be difficult for him. My thing is this, sir, and we'll talk more about them when we talk about the other division. When you got a person of Gumbo's character, quality, and his charisma, I think it's time for him. He has to make a decision. Try his, do something, go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, but whoever takes over a team like Crossroads, who have definitely gone down, and again, whoever takes the helm of the other team that goes down, it's an opportunity for them to actually build things, of their own down there, not just all about winning, but about building that club, that institution. And I think no understanding when you come back.
Yeah. Very true.
I would also have the age of his players too, right? If it's got a young team, If he has a young team, that's different, but as you said, like Donovan's getting up there. But if he's got a young group, it's kind of why I honestly want Somerset to stay up because they have a young group that can battle in the Premier. I feel like if they get demoted, the level of football down there is going to be discouraging, and they will lose players. And that's my fear.
Mm. 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 Well, I've been told for Crossroads, Donovan will probably be wearing the colors of the team he played against today. So that's one of the talking points that he would possibly venture to Hamilton Parish. But there's other teams out there that's actually looking for him. I know there's been some interesting talks around the Hornets and many others. So we'll see. We have to wait to see what happens once this season's over. What someone like Donovan Thompson would do, and someone like Gumbo Bean will do as well. I'm rooting for him to stay and build something and show what qualities he has as a coach and instill on the players in the lower division having that opportunity, because 1 week you're playing a tough team or a tough game, you make it a tough game. The next week you could actually work on some of the things you really want your team to accomplish. So that's my hope. But hey, people have the right to make the choice they want to make, and I wish them all the best. So we're going to take our second commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk First Division football. We'll be right back.
Better Than Bouillon is an oft-featured organic food producer who believe that great recipes begin with great ingredients. This judiciously named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen, replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and a more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases, made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been Dawson Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. Those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it, excited to promote, because I believe in it, because I know when I was playing outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company, done on so much work, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it, glad to be a partner with them, glad to be endorsing this product, and here we go. Get your bag.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
And welcome back. Well, last night at the BAA field, the Boulevard Blazers' hopes of getting that second promotion spot were dashed when they went down to the 1-2 St. David's. I guess we could all say, because we all took Boulevard, a bit of a surprise in the result. But, there's got to be questions with Boulevard. They were in the same position last year, didn't get across the line. And I think frustration again this year has crept in. They had players sent off last night. The coach was sent off as well. It's dealing with pressure and pressure situations. I think we have to kind of deal with them a little different in today's world. I mean, we know that everybody, deals with things different ways, but again, for a team like Boulevard, with all the history that they've had, with all the players that they've had, and they're still getting in the position of almost being promoted. I guess losing to St. David's last night was just the boiling point. What, Coach? You were at that game. Give us a sense of what you thought about Boulevard and the struggles that they would have had last night that saw them go down.
First of all, St. David's had this prolific young goalkeeper playing for them last night who pulled off quite some incredible saves. One off his shin. He pushed a couple out that I was sure were headed for the back of the net. Young Saki Robinson, I'll just put that out there. His distribution was for. I was talking to his grandfather after the match, and he talked about his distribution. He talked about his positioning. He talked about his just his overall game awareness. Clearly MVP of the match. But Boulevard were in control of that game from most of it. And again, they have to manage their emotions. And I think with the intensity of the match, Boulevard scored probably one of the best goals I've seen in a long time. The ball that was played in behind the defense was second to none. And I mean, as good as that young keeper was, there was nothing he could have done. His boy struck this ball from right side of the box. I mean, it was a tight angle. What a great goal. And I thought that may have, and I even said it, I was like, oh, this can be a long night. I thought that they would have gone on. But again, young Robinson came up with quite a few really impressive saves. Boulevard have a guy plays in the middle. He has dreads. I mean, I know that's probably, no, they don't have a lot. I was very impressed with his positional play. I was very impressed with his attitude, his technique, his calmness. Aljamain Mallory and Anthony Swan Tights, unfortunately, he was the one that got sent off. But I think that defensively, they marshaled it. They kept St. David at bay for a very long time. All three goals that were scored in the match were very good goals. I would say that St. David's second goal was a bit of Boulevard being tired because it ended up being an open. I mean, it was a cross and finish. It was very hard to miss. Boulevard's goalkeeper Diaz played really well. There was some sparks, but we still have a ways to go. I mean, it was at times really hard for me to watch the match because of the lack of quality and game management. The stuff that happened in the end shouldn't even happen. St. David's had the ball. It's the dying minutes of the match, and why are you playing the ball? Why are you throwing the ball back to your defensive end? Throw the ball off the field. Even if you throw it to Boulevard, you then press and push them and keep them off the field. They had the ball at one time. Nobody was marking the player. I don't know what he was thinking. Kick the ball off the field. Like, keep it up in their half and just run down the clock. So I'm sure Lugo is losing his mind over there. I could see his hands going and stuff. But Boulevard are really their own worst enemy. Because it's not, if I look at the two sides, the better quality, the crazy part is the better quality came out of OJ Minus, who's 40-something years old, and Ian Cook. Now, Lele didn't come on the field until like the last 15 minutes of the game and completely changed. I mean, if Saki didn't make the saves that he made, one goal they pulled back. I'm not even sure how they pulled back, and Ian scored it. I'm not sure what the reason was for pulling it back. But boy, that boy can play. But you can see that he's just playing within himself right now because he's by far the better player on the team. So but I mean, his technique, his vision, he's able to just play simple football. and pretty attractive football. He doesn't have the quality around him. So, like, when I heard Uncle Punchy in the past week saying, this boy needs to go play somewhere else. But you know what? It's more than football for Ian. That is his heart. He wants to see those people do well as people. You know, he was the one who brought calm. You know, whatever happened in the end, it upset my son. He went into the St. David's changing room and had a conversation with Saki. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine him not being there. He is legit the glue. He is the glue of that Boulevard team. And I really thought that the Boulevard was going to do it this season. But that team wouldn't survive in the Premier League because they implode too much. They implode on themselves. And until they get the mental capacity to be able to play through their situations, the Premier League would have just been a nightmare for them. So they need to stay where they are. They do need to get some people. I didn't see Kamali Davis. I didn't see some of the people that go. Kamali, did he go to Paget now? Does Kamali Davis play for Paget? Or he still plays for Fulham?
Yes, Kamali went Paget, yeah.
Yeah. So some of the people that...
he went to Paget.
Yeah, some of the people that would have been their better players to kind of balance out the weaknesses aren't there. But there's some fight there. I mean, Ajaman his talking, everything about that was so impressive for me last night. And it's just unfortunate that it was marred by, the incident at the end. But we got a ways to go. Quality is serious. It's really not there. It's really not there.
Punchy, it's getting close to cricket season, so St. David's they're trying to get fit for cricket season, so they're doing good stuff for football.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, St. David's. You know what? I'm Peter, and congratulations with Saki. Congratulations. Yeah. I wish I would have known. I definitely would have come and seen that. But I'm glad he got his chance and good. But at least St. David's on his side.
He told me yesterday morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But opposed to that, he would have a deal playing in good. He's in good, was he?
And that's the only reason I went, right? And so, and I kicked into mother mode at the end because, the aggression and stuff was the stuff that went south was right there. And, someone is telling you to forget or smack your son. It's like, no, thank you. So mama kicked in. So I'm happy I went because I don't usually go. I'm happy I went and I was there. But, it's done and nothing. That happened yesterday. It's done and it's dusted. And we move on, but yeah.
Yeah. St. David's is, well, I've had discussions what they're trying to achieve there. And, I'm not going to pick on them, but, at least they're honest about the fact, listen, we're trying to rebuild. But we're just, we're not looking at promotion. We're looking at just having a good, I wouldn't say a good time. No, they're not just having there to have a good time. They want to win something. They would like to win the Shield. I'm not saying they're going to be promoted, but at least they're honest and saying, like, we're trying to rebuild our junior program. And it's about the community and producing good young players. And I've heard quite a bit about the young players that are coming from there who are away in school. So that's a good thing for St. David's. And, they're honest about that. I'm glad that Mr. Fogo, Lugo is there.
Yeah.
Once it's St. David's, I don't know. Always St. David's, I don't know. But at least he's honest. And I'm glad they are where they are. And that result is a good result for them. But the future for them still looks bright. If some young players want to go down and play for them to get some experience, I will recommend that. That's also something that to be talked about too. The players that are dissatisfied sitting on the bench in some clubs should think about maybe going and play for these type of clubs. And if you got Lugo in charge, who's really going to try and who's really putting his effort in down there. And they are, in St. David's are doing that. And I'm very happy for them. But of course, we do know that it's what they're really about.
I mean, the team is young. St. David's team is a young team. It is a young team. It is a team that I can't say that next year they won't be fighting for something more. But they just got to work on their technical abilities. They got to work on their game awareness. They got to work on, it's just things that they just need to work on. And our players have got to get fit. Our players have to be in shape. Our players are not in shape. And playing in the first division, you're almost okay or allowed to not really be in shape because you just get by and there's no expectations of you. So that's something that definitely needs to be worked on.
Mm, mm. Well, there was a game that would have seen Wolves needing to win to put the added pressure on a team like Robin Hood, who were 4 points ahead of them. Robin Hood's season is done.
Yeah.
Wolves had 2 games in hand. They won this game, and now they're
Well, Tito,
one.
I'm just adding to
They're 1 point behind Robin Hood with 1 game to play, and that 1 game is against Island Rangers, who, for the second consecutive match, failed to be able to produce a team. But today, Wolves took care of business. They defeated Somerset Eagles 7-1. So, Punchy, I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you, Punchy, because you have been, you've talked about Wolves and the structure a lot for the last few years. We saw them just miss out on an opportunity to get promoted last year. We know they have this 1 game left. In the event that they win this 1 game, whether Island Rangers show up and they beat them or Island Rangers don't show up, whichever way, what does Wolves need for next season if they want to be competitive in the Premier Division?
Good question. Good question. And we talked about this. Are they gonna need another coach, someone like Gumbo? Would they need that? I think being such a good community supported club, they need, again, what Keita keeps talking about. We all keep talking about structure. The players have to buy into what they want to achieve for Wolves. And I am, again, when I go past the training sessions, the amount of people watching them train, the people hanging on that wall, and the team starting to train. I figured, well, wow, you got such a good group of guys, and there is some quality there. But I think they don't have a structure of what they want to do, even if they are promoted. What is their intent for the next 3 or 4 years? That's what I believe they have to start looking at. Listen, FA Cup, survival. Then look at who you're gonna be playing against, who survives if you come up, and they have to start thinking like that. And that's what I think will be the greatest problem. The problem. What would they want to do in the next couple of years to promote it? Well, the coach that's there now, and I give Tory, I think it's Tory, I give him his old due. He's stuck by them to thick and thin. I know I'm seeing him so mad at times. I tell you, and he's always asked me for advice. And I keep telling him the same thing. I saw him, they had a game down north. They lost to Vasco da Gama. I think they lost to Vasco da Gama this year. So there you go, But what I'm saying is that you got this group of players that they'll just be structured and be mentally focused. That's what they would have to do. And I think Tory, if he does take the job next year, he's definitely going to need somebody to help him. Someone like Gumbo, who's close, in the Devonshire area. I think he'll be a good candidate for that job.
Sure. Coach,
leave Troy Tucker.
Huh?
Just leave Troy Tucker alone.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Yeah, leave him alone.
His good him. His good him if Wolves come up. His good him.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But looking at a team like Wolves, they have an abundance of players who, with the position that they're in, have gone out to other places. But again, we joke about someone like Troy Tucker. Is Troy just going to go back to Wolves to play for Wolves, or is he going to want some structure, some stability, something that they're all going to be aiming for and working towards, because he's been down this road before? Again,
it's going to be, what is it that Troy wants out of football anymore? Do you understand what I mean? We play football to represent our country. And we do play with heart for our clubs and all that kind of stuff. What is it Troy wants? Is it still a sport for Troy, or is it a hobby? Because the guy is so talented, right? That it can be either, and he's going to do well. So that, that's going to be a conversation for him. In regards to Wolves being promoted and doing the things that they have to do, they're going to have to step up their game, every part of their game, their training game, their mentality game. Again, you guys worked hard to get to the Premier League. Are you Premier League players though? Or are you, because guys, let's be honest, the first division teams are really not that great. And it's been that way for years. Because as we've spoken about before, you don't have to do well. You can there's no demotion, there's no nothing. You just at the bottom of the first division table. And in a couple of weeks, people forget that. Nobody worries about that. Nobody looks at league standards. Nobody does all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. You focus on the Premier League and the top two in the first division, and the rest of them are forgotten. So, it might be something we have to look at too. And I put on my BFA hat. That's something we have to look at differently for these players. But guys, I got to run. I will send you my picks, Earl.
Okay.
Do I got to send my player of the week too, right?
Yeah, yes, I'll send you the list. I'll send you the list.
Right, so have a good night, guys.
Okay,
Coach.
All right. Punchy, the other game, Southampton Rangers and Island Rangers. Obviously, Island Rangers did not show up for this match, which is their second forfeit in a week. I believe the rules are if you default 3 matches in a season, then you're out of the league for the season. The thing is, this will be their third. If they default the match, it's their third default, but it's their final game of the season. What happens to them next season? I made some inquiries, and basically it's come down to the competition committee would have to make a decision on what happens if, in the event that Island Rangers does not show up or cannot field a team for their match against Wolves the final week of the season.
I agree with Keita. The association sit down and start restructuring. Think about restructuring that program, that league, in terms of, if teams like Island Rangers are just going to be there to play, there's no consequences. And I think I've spoken about this numerous times about what there are teams like that are just there to, they don't show up, they don't show up. I think there's got to be some type of penalty for them, or it's just association, what they want to do with these teams. Because like I said, do they go down? Do you send them to another division? What division they can go play in? The Corona League? But we got to, it's got to change, because this will continue on. This will continue on. And again, it's about what's happening up in the West End. Again, I spoke to, and we have to start looking at restructuring all of this. Okay. What would be better for Island Rangers? What would be better for a team like St. David's? And I think we still got to look at, these players can go play for them, but then we're talking about community teams. This guy, I don't know, he comes on to play for St. David's, and you've heard this, but he will have the hard for St. David's to be play for St. David's. But okay, so what do you do? I think the end of the road is coming in for teams like Island Rangers. I think they will be probably booted out for a year, and the association is going to have to get tough on it. Even though we're amateurs, they're going to have to get tough on that, because we hear the same story every year. And my thing is, come up with a solution, come up with some type of restructuring of that division. You got to come up with something to restructure the division, make it stronger, and that's what I believe should happen.
Sure. And I know this week we'll probably see a lot of talk and a lot of I would say interest in what Robin Hood, or how Robin Hood feel about the end of the season, as they have finished their season, and knowing that Wolves have 2 matches in hand. The talk has already been raised after Wolves won today, that pulled them within 1 point. And if there was talk before, it isn't as loud as it is now, because I guess they're feeling as if they've been given a raw deal. But just know, deal with the association before you deal with the public, to get public support, because it doesn't always go your way when you do that way. and you're going to probably go to a organization that hasn't cared two hoots about the first division all season and has just started to get into it. You can pick the birds out of that. So
Yes.
we'll go with that. We're going to take our final commercial break, and then we'll look at our picks, and we'll go back to talk about the player of the week. We'll be right back.
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. You know, those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you know, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you know, you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it. Excited to promote because I believe in it. Because I know when I was playing outdoors, especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company. Done on so much work. Yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product. Yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welch's, makers of the world's best-known Concord grape juice, have been based in Concord, Massachusetts since halfway through the 19th century. We've often featured this unique beverage due to its impressive health benefits and bold, unmistakable flavor. Welch's has gone on to diversify their range over the years, successfully launching many new juice-powered products designed for refreshment and flavor. With the imminent holiday season in mind, we're featuring Welch's Sparkling Grape Juices, the ideal non-alcoholic party refreshers brought to us by John Barrett and Son Limited. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, Punchy, looking at the picks this week, not very good. Not very good.
No.
The St. George's game against Dandytown Hornets. You and I took St. George's. Coach Keeler took a draw. So we both got a point there. Paget Lions against Somerset Trojans. We all took Paget in Somerset. Won that one 2-1. Social Club and Devonshire Cougars. We all took Devonshire Cougars, and Social Club won that. And then the Hamilton Parish Crossroads match. Punchy, I remember you saying you felt like Crossroads was going to pull something off in this match. Well, they went down 7-0, and Coach Keelan and I picked Hamilton Parish in that match. In the first division, we all took Boulevard Blazers to defeat St. David's, and we know St. David's won that one 2-0. We know Southampton Rangers got the 3 points because Island Rangers had forfeited. So we all took Southampton Rangers. So that gave, well, let's finish. We all took Wolves to defeat Somerset Eagles, and Wolves did just that. So in the end, I got 4, Punchy, you got 3, and Coach Keita got 3. That puts Coach Keita on 104. It moves me to 103. And your 3 put you on 97. Now, Punchy, in 2 weeks' time, we will see the end of the season take place in the Premier Division. I'm working on getting up the first division to see if they will be playing next week, their final round. Let me just quickly go to that and see if I can find the fixtures here for, let's see, 17. Yeah, so the first division will conclude next week, and then the following week we'll see the conclusion of the Premier Division. So let's go with the Premier Division first. Well, no, actually, no, let's go with the First Division first because they play next week. So in the opening game, it's Wolves versus Island Rangers. And I'll let you go first. And of course, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, well, I don't really. Yeah, I mean, it was Wolves, and yeah,
Okay.
Wolves for sure.
And I'll take Wolves as well. And then the next match is Somerset Eagles host St. David's. And I'm going to take. I'm actually going to take. God. I'm going to take Eagles on this one. Their last game at home for the season, they've been playing well at White Hill, so I'm going to take Somerset Eagles.
No, Earl, I'm going to take St. Davis on this.
Okay.
That little victory yesterday, today, no, on Saturday,
Yes.
it's a little, it's really a good boost for them. Even though I said I don't think they ever traveled well, but I still going to think that I think St. Davis going to win this.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other match is Southampton Rangers playing Vasco. Punchy.
I'm gonna go with Southampton Rangers to beat Vasco. One of the
I'm
last
taking
games for the
Rangers
season.
as well.
Yeah.
And then at the BAA Field is where the Devonshire Colts will be presented the First Division trophy. It is Boulevard Blazers versus the Devonshire Colts. Devonshire Colts are trying to become a team that's going to go through the entire First Division undefeated. So with that, I know there's a lot on the line for Devonshire Colts. I know there's a lot on the line for Boulevard as well, but I'm going to go Devonshire Colts picking this victory and going undefeated in 17 First Division matches. Punchy.
I'm gonna go with Devonshire Colts. That's a morale booster. You're gonna hear it all summer in the cricket games, wherever the cricket games are. You're gonna hear the whole thing about this Devonshire Colts and their unblemished record this year. So I'm definitely gonna go with Colts.
Okay, 17 and 0. 17 and 0.
17 and 0. Yep.
I would like. I personally, I'd just like to say, don't get too much on that because the Premier Division teams will be saying, you were 17 and 0 last year with no competition, and you'll have a bullseye on your back for the entire season in the Premier Division. And some might say, well, we can handle that. But you know how it gets in the Premier Division.
That's exactly it. It's those games that they're up to play against North Village. They're up to play against the PHCs. And I'm not going on about that. But what are you gonna be up to play against the social clubs? They're gonna be just as hard as and the pageants on the Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. I will say
have a season
you
in the
have
Premier
to
Division
travel up.
about.
That's right. That's right. And never play. I am so sure, very sure that teams like Paget are going to just progress. They have been stumbling block, but next year you're going to watch out for them. And I think that's what Devonshire Colts will come. So that's what we heard over the summer.
Sure. Well, let's look back at last week and the players of the week. In the Premier Division, we had the match between Paget and PHC that ended 1-1. And the match between Dandytown and Crossroads that ended 1-1, and that was on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we had North Village defeating Young Masters Club 5-0 at Police Field. You had 2 goals from DeAndre Wainwright and 2 goals from Jalen Harvey in that match. Hamilton Parish and Somerset Trojans drew 3-3. Kenai Mills scored a hat trick for Somerset, while Hamilton Parish got goals from Justin Bell, Leroy Lewis, and an own goal. And that nightcap out Devonshire Recreation Club, where Devonshire Cougars defeated St. George's Colts 5-2. Devonshire Cougars got a hat trick from Elijah Darrow and 2 strikes from D'Amico Cuddington. St. George's got single strikes from Blaze Hall and Mariano Painter. In the first division, you had Devonshire Colts defeating Wolves 3-1. You had single strikes from 3 different players in Devonshire Colts. Shamal Henry closed in on Clay Darrell, the leading goal scorer spot, closed in by 1. He scored in the 90th minute. Somerset Eagles and Southampton Rangers drew 3-3. You had Malachi Jones scoring twice for Southampton Rangers. And you had Nathan Rigo scoring twice for Somerset Eagles. And then that Robin Hood Vasco match, Vasco would win 3-0. They got 2 goals from Zaya Smith. But Punchy, when we talk about standouts and contributors to the game, the players that stand out for me include DeAndre Wainwright and Jalen Harvey. Kenai Mills from Somerset. I was really impressed with him. Actually watched him play today, and I was really impressed with him. You have Elijah Darrow scoring a hat trick for Cougars. D'Amico Cuddington scoring twice. That would be the 5 that kind of stand out for me. Out of that 5, who would you say? Who would be your pick for a player of the week?
What'd you get?
Yeah, sorry about that. No?
Okay, so I was saying
Hear me?
the standouts for me. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard, yeah.
Okay.
I think I would go with, for me, I think the young man has scored 3 goals for Somerset.
Yes. Kenai Mills.
Done against the Parish. Yes. Yeah. I think it's important.
I was leaning towards him from the start. As you know, I got a good look at him today. He's very impressive. Got raw talent. I think.
Raw talent. Yes.
If they do go down or if they do stay up, I think he's going to be one to watch for. Come in seasons.
Yes.
To come. So I'm happy if we agree, and we'll obviously allow Coach Keeler to pick someone, but it's 2 of us, and she goes with someone else.
I will go with him. Yes.
So Kenai Mills will be the Gosling's Player of the Week.
Yes.
So I'm not going to do the premiere because we have to wait 2 weeks for that.
Yes.
So what I'll say to you, Punchy, is have a good week. Thank you very much for joining.
Yes, so okay.
Back next week with another edition of the Island Stats Football Show with the first division, obviously cup presentation, and who else will join the Devonshire Colts in the Premier Division next season?
Yes. I would like to also say, mention something about the traveling national team in Saudi Arabia. I hope, it's a good opportunity for them. Wonderful opportunity. The players are taking over, the young players that are going. So really, really good prospects for what I see for the future of the national program. And that's what I do say about where we're going as a country.
Right.
We need to be doing things like this, regrouping, getting all the players that come from overseas, and being able to manage that. It's a wonderful opportunity for these players. I hope they just grab it, and there will be a showcase because I'm sure they'll get a surprise of when they get over Saudi Arabia. But I'm just saying that I wish them, I wish the national program and the coaches and everyone, I wish them, well on the trip to Saudi Arabia.
Sure. And we'll have the updates as they play I believe they play their first match on.
Yeah, next Friday
Yes.
against Bahrain. Am I correct? Bahrain.
Yes, that is exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure we can get
Exactly.
that. Be interesting to see
Yeah.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is interesting, very interesting. But Al, thank you again.
Thank you. All right, folks.
Yes.
Enjoy your night.
Have a good evening. All right, sir.
Yeah.